If you've ever tried to distribute high-quality video across a sports bar or a big corporate office, you know the headache. You usually need this massive centralized matrix switcher, basically a big, expensive brain in a rack somewhere.
Oh yeah, a huge pain to set up.
Exactly. But today we're doing a deep dive into a device that claims you just don't need that big central brain anymore. We're looking at the Just Add Power VBS-HDIP-509POE 3G 4K receiver.
Right. Calling it just a receiver feels like a bit of an undersell, though. This is really about that big shift to AV over IP. So instead of, specialized video cables running everywhere, we're sending 4K video over standard network cables. We pulled the specs and purchasing data from the HDTV Supply catalog to see if this little black box actually delivers on that promise.
So looking at the spec sheet, the headline is obviously 4K support. It lists 4K 30, 4.4.4 with HDR. Now, I know 4K is the resolution, but for the listener who isn't a video engineer, why does that 4.4.4 number matter?
Well, it's about color detail. A lot of streaming video compresses color information just to save bandwidth, which is called subsampling. Yeah, but 4.4.4 means this receiver isn't throwing away any color data at all. If you're displaying spreadsheets with fine text or high-contrast digital signage, that precision prevents the image from looking washed out or blurry.
Okay, so it looks crisp. But here's my concern with these distributed systems. Compatibility. Like, if I have a brand new 4K projector in one room and an old 1080p TV in the break room, doesn't the whole system usually just downgrade to the lowest common denominator?
Usually, yes, that is the exact problem, but this unit has a built-in video scaler. I mean, that is probably the most practical feature here.
Really?
Yeah, it takes a 4K signal and downscales it just for that 1080p TV while keeping the 4K on the projector. It acts like a diplomat, ensuring every screen gets the best signal it can personally handle.
So you never get that dreaded signal out of range black screen.
Exactly.
That prevents a lot of troubleshooting calls. And I noticed the audio specs aren't slouching either. It explicitly mentions support for lossless audio, specifically Dolby Atmos, so you aren't sacrificing sound for video flexibility.
Right, you get the full immersive theater experience if your endpoints support it.
Now, physically, this thing is tiny. It fits in your hand. But looking at the ports, I see something labeled Ethernet Loop Out. Is that just for daisy-chaining these receivers together?
You can use it for that, specifically for video walls, which we should get to. But the smarter play is using it for network pass-through. Imagine you mount a smart TV on the wall.
Right.
You plug the Just Add Power receiver in to get your video signal. But now the TV needs internet for Netflix, or maybe there's a gaming console right behind it.
And you didn't run a second Ethernet cable to that spot.
Exactly. You just plug the TV into the loop-out port on the receiver, it shares the network connection, it saves you from having to fish a new wire through the drywall.
That is a massive labor saver. Speaking of cabling, the name 509POE implies power over Ethernet. So no power bricks.
Ideally, no. It pulls power right from the network switch using the 802.AF standard. If you're installing 50 of these in a building, not having to find 50 open power outlets is a total game changer.
Let's talk control. This is meant for pro setup, so I assume we aren't using a plastic remote. I see mentions of RS-232.
Yeah, RS-232 is that old school serial connector standard. It's ancient, but it's bulletproof for automation. This receiver allows for two-way communication. So a control system can send a command to turn on the TV via the HDMI cable, that's CEC control, and the receiver can actually report back that the TV is on.
Meaning if the TV fails to turn on, the system knows about it. Now, you mentioned video walls earlier. Usually that requires a dedicated, expensive video wall processor. You're saying these little boxes can do that.
That's the beauty of decentralized processing.
Yeah.
You put one of these receivers behind every TV in a grid, say 4 TVs to make one big image. The software tells each receiver what corner to take, and they scale the image perfectly to fit. No central processor needed.
It totally democratizes the video wall. Now we have to address the buying process. We're looking at this through HDTV Supply, and there's this Wolfpack note. It says you can't see the price online. You have to call 833-WOLFPACK or log in. That feels like a lot of friction. Why make it hard to buy?
It's a protective measure. Just Add Power strictly enforces minimum advertised price policies. If dealers started slashing prices online to win clicks, it would devalue the product and hurt the installers who actually rely on margins to provide support. By forcing a login or a call, they ensure the people selling it are authorized and can offer real technical support, which is backed by a 3-year warranty.
So the friction filters out the box shifters from the pros. That tracks with the reviews. 4.7 stars, mostly praising the service.
Right. It's specialized gear, and you generally want to buy specialized gear from humans who know how it works.
So we have a device that handles 4K color perfectly, supports Dolby Atmos, scales for legacy screens, powers itself, and creates video walls without a central processor.
It really highlights the trend. The hardware is getting smaller, but the intelligence inside is getting much denser.
Which brings us to a bigger question for you listening. If a little receiver behind the TV can now handle scaling, video walls, and control, are we witnessing the final death of the centralized video matrix? Or will there always be a place for a big iron brain in the rack? Thanks for diving in with us.